Perhaps heroes need not question their actions.
Okay, we're getting straight into it. Guys, I don't know how many times gamers are gonna get W after W. So, I have to ask you this. How come game journalists cannot even understand a basic principle? Don't attack gamers, just listen to your customer, and write gaming guides or anything? Why is it so hard? Let's react to this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in a move that shocks absolutely nobody, it has been confirmed officially that Polygon has been sold off and has been hit with massive layoffs. Almost everybody at the outlet has been fired in a drastic move that is affecting gaming journalism as we know it. Polygon is one of those websites that would write about how much they hated gamers. They would write about all kinds of activist nonsense. I would see more trans things on Polygon than I would see anything else. And yet here we are, and Polygon has been completely shuttered. Now, I wonder what this new company is going to do with Polygon, because the company that bought it is the one that is in charge of other gaming outlets like The Gamer, for example, which is also not doing very well, and yet they somehow bought this outlet and shuttered the entire thing.
Did you notice that byline or the date? May 1st. Interesting. Got fired on Labor Day. That is very ingenious. Before we start and before we continue, I feel bad for people losing their jobs, okay? However, activists does not have my sympathy. If you're a good journalist and you do honest journalistic work, then you have my sympathy. But activists doesn't. Let's be clear on that. Out of all of those journalists, some of them are good, honest, and some of them are activists, such as Just Stop Oil activists, Bad Acceptance, all that sort.
So let's get into this article, guys, from Insider Gaming. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, this initial story hit us from Kotaku, right? Kotaku, that's another website that's about to go haywire, I'm sure, at any given moment. They have like, what, 2 people working there now? But Polygon being sold is just the first move in most of these major outlets being shut down. I have said in so many of my videos that it's only a matter of time before these outlets start shutting down one by one, and they're all essentially going to merge into one Super Saiyan outlet, because that's really the only way they're going to survive. It's kind of like the streaming, streaming space, where they first started off with all these different streaming services, and then they started to get bought out one by one until eventually you only have a few major ones left. This is exactly the same thing that is going to happen with gaming journalism. So it says Polygon, an outlet that has been around since 2012, has been purchased, and many of its staff has been let go in a wave of layoffs. This is amazing, by the way. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you shouldn't celebrate someone's job being lost. I don't care, bro. The reason why I don't care is because these people have advocated for my demonetization. These people have advocated for me being removed off YouTube. These people have advocated for me to lose everything. Often, all of these journalists have advocated for all of that stuff, all because I talk against their fucking narrative. So if they lose their job, I don't care, because they wouldn't care if I lost my job.
That is true. I think these journalists wouldn't even care if I lose my job. So why should people like us care? For good and honest journalists, you have our sympathy, okay? For activists, no, you don't. Why would gamers have any sympathy for activists that are losing their jobs? I mean, when was the last time you seen a journalist, or perhaps a video game journalist article that was good? There was no bias, no political agenda. Say it in the comments.
If things bad happen to me, so I don't care if it happens to them. But if there is anybody over there that has any sense of, I guess normalcy, which I highly doubt, if there's any normal people over there at Polygon, those are the ones that I am sad about losing their job. But I highly doubt there's anyone there that's like that. So it says, first reported by Kotaku, Polygon has been sold by Vox Media to Valnet. Valnet is the same parent company of other outlets such as The Gamer and Game Rant. Shortly after the report went live, many staff members of Polygon took to social media to announce that they were no longer with the company. I'll say more later, but I no longer have a job, said the senior reporter Nicole Carpenter said. I'm looking for work, as are so many of my amazing colleagues. I have lots of ideas and things I'd like to write. I'm really in shock. Yeah, if you guys were so amazing, you wouldn't have been sold off. Let's be honest here. All right, I really hate this fake toxic positivity nonsense where they try to say, oh, we were so amazing. You guys are so great. Hire us, hire us. You guys literally all got fired because you weren't bringing enough revenue to the company. You weren't considered good enough to keep around. So let's stop the fucking nonsense about you guys being so amazing. Perhaps you're not as good as you think you are.
Okay, he's right. I think it's been apparent if they attack gamers, this thing would not have happened. Let me rephrase what I said. If the journalists of either Polygon or Kotaku didn't attack gamers, none of this wouldn't happen. Now, after Kotaku, there's also IGN and The Verge, just in case Hypnotic, don't forget The Verge member Ash Parrish, just in case. When Resident Evil 5 Remake comes out, what are these journalists are going to say? Because they knew if Resident Evil 5 Remake comes out or its reveal trailer, they can't do anything about it. They knew that the Chuds have won. They're gonna have to review the Resident Evil 5 Remake properly and without any political biases. What are the chances of that happening?
Even Madam Savvy made a post here over on X that says, LOL, if they were so great, Polygon wouldn't have gone under. I agree 100%. She's basically screenshotting this post from Cecilia D. Anastasio, who says this is absolutely horrifying. Scoop up these great reporters. More mainstream outlets would benefit from games industry coverage from experts. Yeah, experts.
Okay, Cecilia, here's my thought. Bullshit.
You want to call yourselves. See, here's the thing. Gaming journalism is dying, right? Gaming journalism as a whole, in its infancy as it always was, is dying, right? These outlets are dying for a reason, and it is because they have advocated for the most ridiculous things. They have been clearly shown to be shills. They have been clearly shown to be practicing access media. Every single one of them practices access media, and they are doing only what's best for them and only what's best for them solely. That is literally it. They're not doing anything that is good for the gamer for the most part. They actually hate you most of the time, which, to be fair, pretty much everybody in the gaming industry hates gamers in some way, shape, or form. It's unfortunate, but some of them keep quiet and others just can't keep quiet. And these are the people that can't keep quiet. They openly talk about anti-gamer stuff all the time, and then they try to compare gamers that are angry with certain things that are happening in the industry to right-wing extremism. This is what they do. This is what they always have done, and this is why now that the money has dried up, ironically, this is all happening in 2025, right? Polygon sells in 2025, the year where money is hard to come by, the year where funding is hard to come by because the U.S. aid money is no longer there. So now they've been forced to sell before things get really bad because subsidization is no longer there anymore.
Money's dried. They can't do anything about it. Their activists now kaput, finito, gone, thrown out the window. And frankly, for me, I'm waiting for Stellar Blade. I'm certain the PC mods is gonna have a field day. This is in fact 500% cooked. I mean, seriously, if these journalists would just keep writing game guide or anything and not attack the gamers or make any political statement, this kind of thing won't happen. What are the chances of they will not listen? After this, they say Kotaku is next, and then what, The Verge or Rolling Stone, and even the Mary Sue, which I had to ask, who goes to the Rolling Stone for video games? Or better yet, The Verge. Most importantly, the Rolling Stone, Elon Musk was right. YouTubers are the new media. And these journalists gonna have to accept it because they either, well, I'm not certain if people will even hire them, since right now Trump's in office. They knew that if they do hire them, they will have to give them a condition that no wokeness will be allowed, or perhaps no wokeness must be tolerated, something like that. Then they will have to go to the unemployment line, or perhaps even work at everyday average American lives, such as either working at McDonald's, Starbucks, Wendy's. I think these people, these woke journalists, they think they are rich enough, they don't want to work a normal job. When the funds dried up, this is what happened. Let me be clear one thing. For good journalists, I do feel bad for them that losing their job. But for activists, I don't. Let's be clear on that. I don't feel bad if activists lose their jobs. They can go to hell, because these activists, they don't care about me. They don't care if I either lose my job. They don't care if any of these creators lose their jobs or they become, homeless? They don't care. So why should we?
You always survive. The honor should be yours.
Leave a like and subscribe if you want gaming news, gaming theories, or you just want to see me play games and trending topics as well. Visit my first, third, and fourth channel up here and link in the description.